Is ESG. ESG stands for Environmental, Social and Governance. ESG is a framework used to evaluate investment based on three key pillars. Three key pillars are environmental pillar, social pillar, and governance pillar. Next is SRI, which stands for Sustainable and Responsible Investment. SRI is an investment strategy that applies ESG values when making investment decisions. It includes negative screening, which avoids harmful industries such as tobacco, weapons, gambling, and fossil fuels. It also uses positive screening by selecting companies with strong ESG performance. In addition, impact investing aims to generate measurable social and environmental benefits. Finally, Green Sukuk. Green Sukuk are Sharia-compliant Islamic bonds designed to finance environmentally friendly projects. Unlike conventional bonds, they do not involve interest or riba. Instead, returns are generated through profit sharing, leasing, or cost-plus financing structures. Green Sukuk support projects such as solar farms, wind energy, clean water systems, green buildings, and sustainable transportation. Malaysia has been a global pioneer in this area, issuing the world's first sovereign green sukuk in 2017.
Briefly explain the relationship between Islamic finance principles and sustainability, particularly environmental, social, and governance, or ESG practices. According to CFA Institute and PwC, both Islamic finance and ESG investing share a common ethical foundation that emphasize stewardship, societal value creation, and the avoidance of harm. Islamic finance promotes several key principles. First, the prohibition of harm, which align with ESG goal of minimizing environmental damage, such as climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss. Second, justice and beneficence, encourage fairness, societal responsibility, and positive contributions to society. Third, mutual responsibility and risk sharing, known as takaful, support sustainable economic activities and community welfare. Finally, the prohibition of riba or interest and gharar or excessive uncertainty discourage aggressive leverage and promotes financial stability. These principles closely correspond with ESG factors, including environmental protection, human rights, diversity, transparency, and anti-corruption measures. Importantly, both Islamic finance and ESG investing apply exclusionary screening by avoiding industries such as alcohol, tobacco, gambling, and weapons. In conclusion, Islamic finance and ESG investing are strongly aligned in promoting ethical, responsible, and sustainable financial practices that benefit both society and the economy.
So now I will explain the key differences between a conventional bond and Sukuk. First, in terms of the nature, a conventional bond is a debt instrument, meaning investor lend money to the issuer and receive repayment later. In contrast, Sukuk is an asset-based investment certificate where investors have ownership interest in underlying asset. Second, regarding returns, conventional bond earn interest payments, also known as coupon payments. However, Sukuk investor receive return in the form of profit, rental income, or asset-generated returns rather than interest. Third, from the perspective of Sharia compliance, conventional bonds are generally not Sharia compliant because they involve interest or riba, which is prohibited in Islam. Sukuk, on the other hand, is specifically structured to comply with Islamic law and Sharia principles. In terms of asset backing, conventional bond may not necessarily be supported by tangible asset. Sukuk must be linked to identifiable asset, projects, or economic activities, ensuring that the investment is backed by real economic value.
So now we move to the key characteristic of ESG SRI Sukuk. So first is compliance with Sharia principle. It adhere to Islamic finance principle and ethical standard. It prohibits interest riba, excessive uncertainty, gara, and non-halal activities. It also ensures funds are invested only in Sharia compliant project and business. Next is ethical and responsible investment focus. It prioritizes investments that create positive environmental and social impact. It supports sectors such as renewable energy, healthcare, affordable housing, and education. Next is transparency and accountability.
It requires clear disclosure on the use of Sukuk proceed. The issuer must be provide regular report on project progress impact. It also enhances investor confidence through greater accountability and governance. Last is measurable sustainability outcomes. Focus on achieving quantifiable environmental and social results. It uses performance indicators to assess project effectiveness. For example, carbon emission reduction, improved public service, and job creation. So now we move to the key characteristic of green sukuk. First characteristic is compliance with Sharia principle. It follows Islamic finance principle. It also avoids prohibited activities such as interest, gambling, and alcohol. It also must be approved by the Sharia advisor. Next characteristic is green project investment focus. Fund only used for environmentally friendly project. It includes sectors like renewable energy, transport, and green buildings. The purpose must be clearly defined before issuers. Next is transparency and accountability. It must be clear disclosure of how funds are used, regular reporting to investor, and track project progress and environmental impact. Last is measurable sustainability outcome. Project must show clear environmental benefit. It also must measure through emissions reduction and energy saving. The impact is monitored throughout the project.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Muzamil bin Amaluddin. Today I would like to talk about the importance of Maqasid Al-Sharia in sustainable Islamic finance. Let me begin with a powerful statement from Vesh Zakic and Smolo, who describe Maqasid Al-Sharia as the cornerstone and guiding principle of Islamic finance. Maqasid Sharia in simple terms refer to the objective and rationale of Islamic law. It is not just a set of rules. It is a complete framework that protects what matters most to human beings. Classical scholars like Al-Ghazali identify 5 essential things that Sharia seeks to protect: our faith, deens, life, nafs, intellect, aklu, lineage, nas, and will, mal. These 5 essentials are the foundation of everything in Islamic finance. So when we talk about the sustainable Islamic finance, Maqasid tell us that finance must go beyond making profit. It must ensure justice and equity for everyone in society. It promotes what scholars call maslahah, meaning public interest. In other words, Islamic finance must benefit not just the individual, but the entire community. It also guarantees that wealth is circulated fairly, not concentrated in the hand of a few, and that all financial dealings are conducted with full transparency and accountability. In short, Maqasid Sharia gives Islamic finance its soul and purpose.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muzammil. My name is Muhammad Ismail Salihin, and I will continue on to the example of sectors or projects financed through ESG or SRI Sukuk. Starting with ESG Sukuk, one example is the 50 megawatt solar photovoltaic plant managed by Tadau Energy Sendirian Berhad. This sukuk was issued by Tadau Energy, and the proceeds were used to develop the solar photovoltaic power plant. The project supports environmental sustainability by lowering carbon emission and reducing dependence on fossil fuels. This demonstrates how ESG sukuk can be used to finance renewable energy projects that generate positive environmental impacts. Next is an example of SRI sukuk, which is the school transformation program under Yayasan Amir. This project was financed through the issuance of Ihsan Sukuk Berhads amounting to 1 billion ringgit, structured using the Sharia principle of wakalah. The funds were used to enhance school facilities, improve teaching qualities, and strengthen student learning outcomes. This highlights how SRI Sukuk can support social development initiatives, particularly in the education sector. In conclusion, both ESG and the SRI Sukuk contribute to sustainability development, but they focus on different objectives. ESG Sukuk often supports environmental projects such as renewable energy, while SRI Sukuk emphasize social impacts projects such as education and community development. Thank you very much.